turn off the fan? Is that going to make people dizzy, you think? All right.
It's fine.
And we'll start in 5, 4, 3. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. This is week 4 of the AAEEBL annual meeting, and Tracy, Helen, Candice, and I just wanted to start weaving it all together, as you'll be seeing throughout this week. And so we're going to start with hearkening back to week 1, and Candice is going to lead off that part of the conversation by discussing portfolio pedagogy and some of the takeaways that we want to make sure you even go back and check out if you haven't already done so.
Great. Thanks, everyone. I hope that you've enjoyed this month of activity. I certainly have. It's been great to connect with people and talk about things that I've been passionate about, which is ePortfolio and learning. So I hope you've enjoyed that also. Week 1 seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? But we had some really excellent discussions during that week. And one I want to point out that I think we'll be showcasing this week also was an interview with Mike Ribble, who wrote a book about digital citizenship. He was going to be a keynote at our annual conference in person. So I was really glad that he was able to talk with us about his book and his ideas about digital citizenship. So if you haven't seen that, I'd really encourage you to go back and watch that video and consider looking at that book. As we talk about week 2, digital ethics, the focus on digital ethics and the ongoing work that we're going to be doing in AAEEBL, I think adding the elements of digital citizenship is going to be really important for us and has certainly improved my own practice in ePortfolios thinking about these concepts.
Well, and that's a perfect segue for Helen maybe to talk a little bit about what happened over week 2.
Okay, can I say one more thing? Just
yes, please.
I want to highlight that on Friday we did a play shop around creating your own professional portfolio, and we will be rolling out a new out of practice group in the next couple of weeks. So please be on the lookout for that.
Great.
And maybe building on that, I would say that the out of practice group has really been a topic of great interest, particularly in our Slack workspace for the AAEEBL conference. There's been great, like really terrific and interactive and engaging asynchronous conversations, sharing of resources as well as ideas, and a way to begin to build the community here at AAEEBL and also with our broader network of ePortfolio colleagues in ePortfolio Ireland and ePortfolios Australia. Please do check out the Slack workspace if you haven't had an opportunity yet to join, because I think people are on and really posing ideas, posing questions, and we really encourage ongoing participation and engagement. So week 2, focusing on digital ethics, was also another terrific week, and really I think one of the showcases of this week, highlights of this week, was actually the work of the Digital Ethics Task Force. This amazing team has really put together an incredible set of principles that I think through our ongoing conversations that week, from talking about open educational practices to our sort of panel on digital ethics and ePortfolios with ePortfolios Australia. In those various conversations, I think we recognize that digital ethics is something that is not just limited to ePortfolios, but is certainly part of our daily conversations, and are things that we definitely need to take into account as we're addressing the challenges ahead, and also helping to better support our students, our faculty, as well as our staff in navigating this new online world. And so with that, I'll turn it back over to Kevin to talk about week 3.
Yeah, and I think I will wrap up the week 2 conversation by mentioning that there is a call right now for AAEEBL members to join the 2nd year of the task force work. And so if you're excited by what they've produced, the principles that they've been putting together, they're not finished. There's plenty more to do, and they are actively seeking people, a diverse set of experiences and perspectives to collaborate on that project. For week 3, we talked about engaging different stakeholders across our campuses, and it made me think about an event and we've had so many live events over the last couple of weeks that I can't remember which one it was. But we talked about e-portfolios as a transitional node for students, specifically as they enter college, as they navigate their academic career, as they head off to graduate school and even to career. It acts as a bridge or transition between those points. And so if you think about the different stakeholders that really can lend feedback and ideas to students as they go through that journey, you know, it starts with their fellow students, their family members who are maybe excited to see what they're doing, especially for students who might be the first generation in their family to go to college, to be able to share what you're doing with people who may not understand the value, or they know the value but don't know what you're doing. I know for a fact that my father-in-law still doesn't know how to describe what I do for a living. So why not make it easier for everybody you know to know what you're doing by showing them evidence of your work? And then shifting that gears to faculty advisors and academic advisors, being able to provide feedback in a way that might guide you as you work toward your degree goals, and also possibly graduate work, which implies that you might be reaching outside your institution for the first time to send your portfolio in one of its many forms to graduate school admissions teams or graduate program advisors to get their feedback about what you might want to take to wrap up your academic career at the undergraduate level to prepare you for the grad program that you're applying to. And then whether or not you go to graduate school, your idea of making that transition from academic life, making a bridge to career, means that you might involve the career services staff on your campus or employers, either in an informational interview sense, do I have what it takes to work at your particular place, or looking at job descriptions and writing reflections that show, hey, I do have what it takes and you should hire me now. So all those different aspects of engaging different stakeholders, and I know I've only listed about half. If I recall, Helen's got a fantastic graphic on a presentation that has probably around 30 different stakeholder groups listed on there, and I've only talked about 8 or 9. So, but with that, I would love to hand the baton and talking stick over to Tracy to kind of wrap it up with week 4, high impact practices and weaving it all together.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, I mean, I think the most exciting thing for me about this event and the fact that it's run over a month is that we have been able to sort of track, I hope you have anyway, track threads through the different weeks and the different conversations that we've been having. And what this week is really meant to do is to give you some time and space to really reflect on and think about how you can weave the different practices together in your own context. And so we're really excited that we're going to be offering a focused working session this week for folks who want to come and think about your own context and how you might engage some of the practices and pedagogies, how you engage the ideas of digital ethics, and then the various stakeholders in bringing together some sort of e-portfolio implementation plan that will be a high impact practice on your campus. You know, we talk about high impact practices in North America in a very specific way. It refers to work that George Koo and his colleagues have done with the National Survey on Student Engagement, and high impact practices represent things like undergraduate research, study abroad, and e-portfolios are the 11th high impact practice. But I think many of us would argue that portfolios are actually a meta high impact practice. Just as Kevin was saying, that opportunity to weave those threads between your various learning experiences and to make connections between those experiences to present them to different audiences for different purposes is really, I think, what makes it special, the work that we do with e-portfolios. It struck me that as I'm thinking about this work moving forward, you know, considering those ethical questions and issues like equity and access are going to be so important. I loved the session that Helen and her colleagues did earlier at the end of last week, where we really talked about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And I think that is such an important word to remember, that we want to make sure all of our students feel like they belong, but that also we feel like we belong in this community. And so we hope that this opportunity to kind of bring things together this week will be exciting for you. And it makes me think again about out of practice. you got to have a portfolio if you're going to teach portfolios. So definitely an opportunity to think about how you can weave that into your future work. So Kevin, what else do we need to say to get everybody ready for this last week to weave it all together?
Well, as we go through week 4, I think the key things to remember are that it's going to be informative, but also fun. So on Wednesday, we're going to have some Shark Tank activities. So we're going to have people proposing to our sharks some ideas that they've come up with. And we also have an opportunity on Wednesday to learn more about how you can get involved with the AAEEBL community through the AAEEBL ePortfolio Review, or AEPR publication. And so learning more about what their themes will be in the next few issues, and also the how do you submit a proposal for an article. And then on Friday, we're going to have a number of workshops and conversations, including one with authors who have written about different aspects of ePortfolio use, in the pedagogical sense, in the high impact practice sense, and even expanding beyond that to things like assessment and high impact practices in online education. So we're excited to have our sponsor Stylist and several of their authors who have written fantastic books to join us to give us a little information about those books, but also to answer your questions about things that you really want to know. So we encourage you to join us for that. And then I think we're going to close it up with one last hurrah, and Tracy will lead us through a session about AAEEBL itself. So those of you who have joined us for this month-long endeavor can determine, yes, it is now time for me to become a member, and we welcome you with open arms, because this is one of the best organizations I've been proud to be part of. And I'm gonna stop there, because what else is there to say?
Well, maybe one or two more things. Like,
Good.
for instance, on Friday, when we do that showcase, we'll be celebrating our Shark Tank winners. So you'll definitely want to tune in and see who wins the prize for getting through the Shark Tank, and diving, swimming. I don't know, Helen, what the Helen's our expert at coming up with all kinds of metaphors to go with the Shark Tank. And the other thing that we want to remind you about is that through Stylist, we're able to offer you a 30% discount on Stylist books throughout the conference and through till the end of August. So we definitely encourage you to check out their virtual booth, which you can find on our week page. I think that's all